What has today been like for you and your family as you guys make your way to the hilltop for the first time?
Well, first thing, the wonderful hospitality. It's incredible here. People are so nice, welcoming. It's a whirlwind for a coach to come into a new job with a new team, have to hire a staff, and just the 700 or 800 text messages, you can't get back to everybody right away. So I have a lot of work to do here in the next few days.
You talked about it, Rick has talked about it, the desire, rather intense desire, it seems to be great. What does that look like? What does that mean in your mind?
Well, this is a premier institution, a university in the country. Academically, athletically, we have to get to that point in the men's basketball program. So it's a challenge to the coaching staff, a challenge to the players, and everybody within our program. We all have to do this together. I don't do anything by myself. I have a great support staff as a head coach, and I try to hire the best people possible to do that. And then we go recruit players that want to be here, that want to work, and want to elevate this program to the national level. And so what that looks like, to be determined, but we're excited to get started immediately.
Like you mentioned, when you got to USC, there was no transfer portal, and you guys could build. Where does that help you? And how soon do you start putting all this together?
Right now, with the transfer portal, there are really good players in there. We have to try to recruit, and similar to my other two stops at head coach, Florida Gulf Coast and at USC, it's a vision for the future. It's what's in it for them as players, and can they see themselves being the reason why SMU basketball becomes a national brand, and we're hopeful that they can.
You mentioned obviously having grown up ACC and all that, so you know where the difficult challenges are going to be. So just how much harder is it though when you are trying to build a program, like I said earlier, that has not had a sustained success in a while?
Well, building anything is difficult, and we know the challenges, but we're here as a coaching staff to develop the players that are here, fill in the roster with some transfers, and then recruit high school players as well as transfers in the future. And I think if you do that over a course of time, you can build a successful program, and what a great place to do it.
Sorry. If SMU had not made the move to the ACC, would you be standing here today?
No. We were extremely happy at USC, and I had an incredible staff, players, great support from the administration, and we lived at the beach. So, not bad at all.
Any luck finding sand yet for your daughter?
Not yet. I haven't had time to come out of my office except for the press conference here, so we'll get on that immediately.
The transfer portal allows you guys to pursue some guys that could come in and help right away. With that, you've got to be able to hit the ground running. Have you worked on or know some of your staff that is going to join you or not join you?
Yeah, I think in the coaching industry, sometimes coaches try to bring staff members with them. They're loyal, they're comfortable, they know everybody knows each other. We'll work through that in the next few days. Since yesterday was just the day I signed to come here, it's been a little too soon, but getting the staff together, meeting with the players is priority number 1 and 2, and then next week we'll try to get on the court with our guys, our players, and get to know each other more from a basketball perspective.
And then your wife's from Mustang, Oklahoma, I believe. So
does Mustang, Oklahoma.
Yeah, pretty much work out for her too.
Our mother, Carol, was able to drive down here today. It was special. Being on the East Coast when we first met and started a family, and living in New York City and then Florida and moving out to California. Never been very close to Oklahoma, but it's nice for her to get in the car for 3 hours and get here.
How much of your attraction to this job was not only that you've had the success you've had winning games, getting into the postseason, but the fact that you did it at a similar school in a large metropolitan environment like USC in LA and SMU here in Dallas?
That had a lot in our decision to come here. That was a lot of similarities, as you just mentioned. It's a private school, high academics, in a great location with a big-time recruiting base, trying to build a program and then sustain the success. So I think SMU basketball can get to that level pretty quickly.
Does the potential of recruiting in Dallas, in Texas, was that something that also appealed to you, or is it kind of more that you want to turn SMU more national?
Well, I think you have to recruit locally first. Dallas and the state of Texas has tremendous talent, and it's nice to be able to get in your car and drive. It's a lot easier to recruit locally first, build a program, and then go out nationally. Now the transfer portal is a little different because in the NIL, it makes national recruiting a little different than it used to be. But we want the city of Dallas, the players in this area, to feel great about the opportunity to come here and be a Mustang. And so that's priority number one on the local recruiting trail.
How many Johns Hopkins guys have taken your path in basketball?
How many Johns Hopkins guys have taken my path? I'm not too sure, but there are a lot of great coaches. I'm not saying I'm a great coach, but there are a lot of great coaches across the country from different backgrounds, and I just happen to pick and my background's very unique as far as going in the NBA first and private business, etc. But it doesn't really matter where you start, it's how you get there, and I'm just thrilled to be here.
And you actually were in this building with USC the year after the tournament, and so I know what you thought of the SMU back then, what your perception of this job was, and did that help you coupled with the ACC? This is why you're standing here talking.
Yes, we played here in 2017, I believe, or 18. Yeah, we played twice in 2017 in the NCAA tournament, and came back here the following year. And I can remember how loud the students were right behind the bench or to the side of the bench. They said a few nice choice words to me as an opposing coach, and I got a nice chuckle out of that. But the arena itself is incredible. We walked out of there, SMU beat us, and I can remember walking out and saying, wow, that is a tremendous home court advantage. The renovations they did to Moody are outstanding. It's a perfect size college basketball arena. It has everything you need, and so I think this could be just an outstanding home court advantage. It certainly was the day we came down here many years ago and played.
I don't know that this is something you can put a dollar amount on necessarily, but what kind of promises, commitments, whatever have you been given by the university, by the power brokers that be here about what kind of NIL budget you can work with and how lucrative this program can be?
Well, NIL is very important for our players to be able to do some things that normal college students can do. It's such a demanding job. When I call it a job, a full scholarship. They have their academics, they have weight training, they have conditioning, they have practice, they have games, they have travel. It's very challenging to be a student athlete at this level. And so to be able to support them through the name, image, likeness, I think is very beneficial. And it just made recruiting a little different now. But the NIL commitment here with the Boulevard Collective and some of the people I've spoken to is at a very high level, and our players deserve it. And we're looking forward to recruiting at the highest level across the country.
What have early interactions been like with the members of the team, and what was the kind of the message you wanted to leave them with when you first got here?
Well, the message, I'm just very appreciative. They're tremendous young men. I had great conversations and trying to get to know them as people. Forget about on the court, try to know where they're from, their backgrounds, and then we'll get on the court next week and try to get to know them as basketball players. But just terrific young men, that's my first impression.
David Miller mentioned that once the school's conversations started with you, they heard from some other coaches expressing interest in this job. I know you've only been here a minute, but have you started to hear from assistant coaches lobbying for a spot on your staff?
That's a good question. I have about 700 or 800 text messages now and counting. And whenever in this business that's expected, I try to get back to every single person. I was an assistant coach once, and aspiring to move up the ranks as an assistant coach and become a head coach. So we have a lot of interest in this job as an assistant coach pool, and I think we'll try to find some great ones, and also talk to some of my former coaches at USC if their contracts are up, because they're outstanding as well.